Hello, my name is Dean Heald. Today we're going to be talking about utilizing natural and logical consequences versus utilizing punitive measures during those times when a consequence for behavior that has happened is necessary. Right. This is part 8 of a 10-part series of webinars, all focused on some of the basic understandings of behavior, why behavior happens, and what we as caregivers can do when responding to behavior. So these webinars are meant to kind of be a reminder, or help parents understand some of the steps in the process of responding to behavior. If at the end of these webinars, if you have more questions, of course, there's the people at Kw'umut at the wellness team that are certainly ready to help answer some of the questions. So they're not meant to answer everything, not meant to make it's the idea isn't for them to be everything you need to know about the topic, just enough for you to like I said, be a strong reminder, or at very least know what those next steps in terms of evolving your approach might be. So without further ado, this is part 8. Understanding the difference between natural and logical consequences. So natural consequences are those consequences that occur naturally in a cause and effect relationship. So a child that stays up late, he's tired the next day when he heads off to school. So we don't allow him to stay home from school just because he's tired, because he made that choice. The natural and logical consequence is that he's going to be tired at school. In this picture, we have a child that has presumably chosen not to wear a jacket on a snowy day, and as a result, he's cold. As a parent, we have to decide, are we willing to allow our children to suffer the natural consequences of their choices? Sometimes the answer is yes. Well, if you choose not to eat your dinner, then you're likely going to be hungry. But this is what we've made, and this is what you'll eat, right? So if they choose, no, I'm not going to eat it, the natural consequence for choosing not to eat the dinner is they are hungry. That happens in a natural cause and effect relationship. We don't really need to do anything for that consequence to be felt by the child. The logical consequences, okay? Logical consequences are those things that are attached to the behavior, but we implement those. So consequences that are created or imposed by you that are associated with the poor choice or behavior. So this picture here, the little duck, he's walked into the house without taking without cleaning his feet, and he's tracked mud in. As a result, the most logical response to that is he has to clean it up. So the logical consequences, you came in late last night, tonight you're going to come in early. That is a logical response. It's connected to the behavior. It's associated with that poor choice, okay? And it's created or imposed by you. Punitive measures, on the other hand, those are things that are punishment, and we really want to get away from punishment, because research tells us that punishment doesn't actually lead to an increased level of understanding for the child. And really, anytime we make a decision with our children, the hope is that they will learn. The hope is that they will independently make a better decision in the future. Okay, so the research says that punitive measures or punishment don't lead to that. Okay, so punitive measures, these are typically imposed during moments of frustration or anger. Well, if you're going to talk to me like that, then you're grounded for a week. Okay, that is in the moment. It's done because we're angry. It's done because we're heightened, and we're making a decision, a reactive decision. Okay. Not meant to teach. That's not going to lead to any learning or anything like that. It's not logical or natural or connected to the behavior. Like saying you're grounded for a week, it's reactive. Saying, you know what, I hear that you want to go practice driving right now, but after talking to me like that, right now, I don't feel like spending that extra time with you. I will later, but right now, I think that I'm just going to take a little bit of me time. That is a natural and logical response to somebody speaking with you rudely. I don't want to spend extra time with you right now. I will connect, we'll connect later. Don't worry, I will deal with it. We'll connect later. So, but you're grounded for a week, saying that in the moment. And one thing that parents and caregivers, we should always understand, we have time to make decisions. Don't make those decisions in the moment on how you're going to respond. You can say to your kid, obviously, this, you made a bad choice, and there's got to be a consequence to that, and I need to think about that. And in those moments, we can even say, what do you think should happen? And they might have their opinion, and they say, well, let me think about that. We need to talk about this later, but right now, I'm going to take a little bit of space and think about that. That is one great way to make sure that we're not making decisions that are reactive and overly punitive in the moment, because when we're heightened, we're not thinking straight. And that's the same for all of us, right? Calmly think about the situation, think it all through. What is it? And ask yourself, what is it you want your child to learn as a result of this situation? Right? And when we know what we want them to learn, utilize the natural and logical consequence to help create that learning. Punitive measures are frequently harsh or extreme. Like I say, it's, if you're making that decision in the moment where you're heightened and you're not thinking straight, there is a likelihood that it's going to be overboard. Well, I'm taking your PlayStation from you and you're not getting it back. Right. And then later on, when we calm down, we recognize, well, that was probably a little bit overboard. Now we have to go back on that. We lose some of that respect. Right. We say, well, okay, well, no, I'm not taking it for good. But so, and basically we're saying I responded out of anger. So always making those decisions once we've calmly thought the situation through. And ultimately, if they're not learning anything from it, if it's creating a divide, if it's harming the relationship, if we have to go back on it, all of those things, obviously, it's not helpful. Always asking ourselves, what do we want our child to learn? And how is it that utilizing this natural and logical consequence is going to help them learn from next time? Right? I know if I say to my son, you tracked in mud all the way through the house, you're going to mop from the front entryway all the way to your bedroom. Okay, he's likely to remember that next time, more so than if I take away TV for the night. Right, so making sure that it's helpful, make sure that there's learning that's happening. Natural and logical consequences should create an opportunity for kids to be responsible for their behavior. You chose to take out all of the toys in your room rather than just a few things. And now your room is a great big mess, and that's going to take some time to clean up. So before you turn on your TV, this room needs to be put back in order. Okay. Now they're responsible. The thinking should be, I created this mess, or I made that choice, and therefore I am suffering, if you will, the consequences, or I am the one having to clean up as a result of that choice. I am the one having an unpleasant experience as a result of that choice. Okay, so creates that opportunity for kids to be responsible for their behavior. Really important early, for our younger kids, really help them understand if they're running through the house and they knock over their bowl of cereal, or they knock over a plant, rather than you going over there and doing all the work to clean it up, right? They're taking part in that process, understanding that, their behavior has those natural and logical consequences that directly affect them. And it's not done out of anger. It's just, hey, this is the world. This is the way the world works. And they should act as a reminder for similar situations in the future. And we can be there to coach them to remember that. Hey, remember the other day you decided to take out dump all of the toys out of your toy box rather than just taking the few that you wanted to play with, and you made a big mess. What happened? I had to clean it up. Right. And did you get to watch your whole show before bed? No, because I didn't have enough time. Exactly. So what do you want to do instead this time? So we can proactively remind our kids, this is what happened in the past. What did we learn from that? What decision do you want to make now? And you know what? In some cases, they might say, no, I want to take all my toys out. Okay, but remember, just like last time, you're going to clean them all up before you turn on your show. Right? And allow them to make that choice if necessary. So allow them to make a choice. I want to build choice in as much as I can with my kids. I want to build that choice in as much as I can, and I want them to to independently face the natural and logical consequences of those choices. Right? Build that responsibility. For consequences to be effective, for learning to happen, kids must see them as logical, must see them as connected, must see them as make sense. We don't want to take the focus off of them. This is happening because of a bad choice I made, and put it on you. This is happening because my dad's a jerk, right? If it's focused, if the focus now is on you, if the anger is focused on you rather than on what they did, rather than the reason they have the consequence, no learning is going to happen. Not done out of anger. We talked about that. Predictable as much as possible. They should understand what's going to happen when they make a choice. Right? Our goal should always be to be an authoritative parent. Okay, high expectations. Okay, high expectations, but still warm, still great relationship, sensitive to their needs. High expectations, sensitive to your kids' needs. That's what we should be going for. Okay, so both be firm and kind. Have that balance. Let them know I'm doing, I'm making this decision because I care. You need to be home at 10 o'clock because by then it's getting dark and I don't feel like it's safe for you to be outside past then. And I care about your safety. Or I know that if you're home by 10, that, you're more safe and than if you're out and, doing whatever. Right. So firm, here are the limits, here are the expectations. Kind, because I care. So refers to your follow. Firmness refers to those limits that you set, and then your follow through behavior. This is what we talked about. This is what the expectation was. This was your choice. This is the natural and logical consequence as a result of the choices that you made. Okay. And I just want you to, I want you to learn from these situations so next time that doesn't happen, right? So firmness refers to those limit-setting behaviors as well as your ability and the likelihood that you're going to follow through. Kindness, it refers to the way you present the information. It should always be done out of learning or out of caring, and always focused on learning, right? So it's not dad's in a bad mood, and so he made this decision. It's I made a decision, and as a result of my decision, this natural and logical consequence, natural or logical consequence, had to be implemented. All right, that's a very quick summary of natural and logical consequences. If you have any more questions, or if you have questions on how to implement some of these, natural and logical consequences in your home, by all means, reach out to the wellness team at KL. There's their phone number and the extension. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and hope to see you on part 9.